Okay. Toxicity is so common nowadays, and I think it's probably one of the reasons why most of our bonds slash friendships slash relationships are cut off because the person is toxic, or you yourself could be toxic at times too. I'm here to tell you guys the signs of toxic behavior, or the signs of how a toxic person usually behaves towards other people or towards you, and how to fix when you are with or around a toxic person, what you can do, basically the solutions, the advices in every single detail that you need to know, and how to deal with such people and etc. Okay, so the first sign of a toxic person, or the first sign of a toxic behavior, is when the person is being manipulative. Now, we all know the meaning of this, but somehow still fall for such people, or still, trust them, and still just follow them blindly and just listen to what they're saying instead of actually seeing their actions. Whenever you find yourself in situations where somebody is trying to manipulate you, please open your eyes instead of falling for the trap and letting yourself down and forgetting about your self respect and self worth. The second thing is, no matter what you say or do for a toxic person, they are never gonna change. It's as simple as that. If they wanted to change, they would have changed. I would talk more about this in detail in the later section of this episode. The third one is, the toxic person who is in your life does not know how to communicate properly. Now, this is not necessarily a toxic sign, because there are many people who are shy, or there are many people who are introverted, or maybe some people are just, not that vulnerable towards others to open up and everything. That's a completely different part. However, a toxic person's toxic sign of being poor at communicating with the other person is usually sounding like they want to avoid the situation, they don't want to talk about it, or they just want to ignore whatever is happening or how you're feeling, and just not talk about what is going on in other people's minds, and they just want to completely forget that the situation ever occurred. Now, this is a really unhealthy coping way, and I think it should not even be termed as a coping skill or something, because when you actually don't communicate your feelings and emotions properly, it's really toxic of you to do that. Secondly, it also affects the other person a lot more than you think. The next is, they dismiss your thoughts and your words. Now, no matter how much you try to tell them, like, you know what, this is how I'm feeling, this is how I want the situation to turn out, or this is how I want you to behave so that our bond can be better, etc., etc., etc. Basically, whatever you say, even though you're being completely honest, even though you're saying it for their own good, they will simply see no good in it, and they will keep on thinking that you are finding faults in them, and basically just a typical common toxic mindset that I bet you guys have experienced also at this point. I think it's everywhere. So basically dismissing your thoughts instead of actually trying to understand you. The next is blaming you for their actions. Now, this could be in two, three forms. For example, you communicate the whole thing, you tell them, like, you know what, this is how the situation made me feel, and this is not how it should be, and I actually want the solution to be this and that. And then suddenly they ask you, but where did I go wrong? What did I do to hurt you so much? Why are you reacting like this? I didn't do this. I didn't mean to do this. Why are you always blaming me? All of these words are really common when it comes out from a toxic person. Please don't take this as a sign that they are too blind. Please take it as a toxic sign itself. The next is connected to the previous one, which is victimizing themselves. No matter how many times you tell them, like, you did this wrong and you have to improve, or this is what hurt me and this is what made me aggressive towards you, or etc., whatever reason you give them, every single time they'll be like, I didn't do anything, you made me do it, your actions made me do it, your behavior made me do it, it's you, it's always you the problem, you're the problem, you're the problem. Basically, they can never open their eyes. They have this blindfold over them. No matter how many times you tell them that I did not do this, they will still blame you instead of seeing themselves. Basically, create a situation in which you are the villain and they are the victim. The next is that a toxic person cannot be trusted. Now, there are a lot of times when we overshare, right? We don't know whether the person should actually know all of that about us or they should not. And obviously, trusting is a good thing. Honestly, it's not a bad thing, or it's not like it should not happen. Obviously, we should open up to people we trust. However, if you do open up to a toxic person who does not understand your feelings and who cannot, understand your emotions or the situations you're going through in your life, what is the point of telling them? Now, how you spot a toxic person, whether they are trustworthy or not, is completely personal because it depends on the situation. Like, for example, you and the toxic person are in a huge fight and you're trying to tell them what hurt you and what caused you, and basically you're trying to address the situation. However, suddenly the next day everybody knows about it. You didn't tell anybody, but suddenly everybody knows about it, and that's a very, very clear, huge sign that that is the person, or the person who is in the fight with you, or their friend, or anybody has told everybody. Obviously, this can be in a non toxic form also, but that's usually really immature of people to do so. So I would still consider it as a toxic sign only, because when a person goes around and tells everybody about their business or somebody else's business, that's the worst part. When a person who should not be involved in the business is going and telling everybody about the drama that is going on in your life, that is a huge toxic sign. Please run away. Please stop sharing your secrets with the person. Stop opening up. Open up to people who are actually trustworthy and who actually understand you, instead of such people who just want to tell everybody your drama just for the sake of gossiping. And the last is again connected to the previous point, which is they love drama more than reality and more than finding out solutions for problems. Now, you could be in a huge argument with this toxic person around you, but simply they will overreact. They will create a huge scene out of it. They will go and tell everybody about what is happening, and they will try to victimize themselves. So basically, covering all the points, or whatever they do, like they manipulate, or they cannot be trustworthy, or they just go and tell everybody and they victimize themselves. All of these points come under this point, which is that they love drama more than reality or more than finding solutions. Because you think if they really cared about you, or if they were mature enough to be in your life, who were capable enough to handle you as a person, they would never ever choose drama over solution, right? But simply they want drama, they want people to gossip, they want people to know about the business that's happening, and it's a movie for them. Even though it's a really serious situation for you, it's simply not for them, and they just wanna make everybody listen to what is happening instead of sitting down, communicating, and finding a solution to whatever is happening. Now that we have covered most of the signs, or I think all of the signs, or most of the common signs that we see nowadays in a person who is actually toxic, and sometimes we have this blindfold and we cannot really notice that they're toxic, let's come to the final part of this episode, that is the advices part. This is really important because I have experienced many such people in my life, and honestly, it's not a good thing. It's really not. It's just really annoying to deal with such people at times, because how can they be such immature people? So the first advice that I would like to give you when you're dealing with such people is stop wasting your energy on them. Stop trying to change them. Stop trying to tell them what to do and what to not do, and stop trying to improve them or build them as a person, because if they wanted to do that, they would have done that themselves. Literally, if they wanted to change, if they wanted to develop, if they wanted to improve something or a particular quality about themselves, they would have put in that much efforts to change it. However, they are literally not interested. They accept themselves as they are. And okay, accepting yourself is really nice. It's perfect. It's good that you accept yourself as you are in this generation, because a lot of people don't, because we're insecure or we simply don't like ourselves and all of that. But accepting yourself that, okay, I am toxic, is stupidity. You should actually change yourself or improve yourself instead of accepting that you are toxic. In short, no matter how much you tell them, no matter what things you do for them, you get them gifts, you get them letters, you get them handwritten letters, they will not see it as a start of a friendship or a start of a bond. They would actually just not care. And no matter how much you try to tell them that, this is where you're wrong and you should change this, and I highly think that you need to improve in this section of your life, they will not listen. So instead of wasting your energy, instead of putting so many efforts for people who don't care, just leave them as they are. Because sometimes we cannot change people, we cannot change who they are, and we can just sit back and observe, we can just sit back and, give up, because that's the most peaceful thing you can do for yourself. The next is, don't associate with such people on a daily basis, or don't associate with them at all. That is the best part. But if you are still put into circumstances where you have to face the other person, you have to see them every single day or anything like that, just try to detach yourself from the person. Don't get yourself too attached to the person or the idea of the person, which we usually do in this generation. We do get attached to the idea of being with them or whatever. So instead of putting yourself on a pedestal where you can get into the accident and die, simply detach yourself, mind your own business, and don't try to change them, don't try to care about them. Let them do whatever they want. And the best part, as I said, is avoiding them at all times. If you can, then stop being around them. But if you cannot, then just make sure that their low vibe energy is not affecting you at all. The next is invalidation. Now, in my previous episode, I spoke about how to stop seeking external validation, right? So when you start seeking external validation from a toxic person, they will invalidate your feelings because they don't understand. It's as simple as that. It's not like whether they care or not, whether they like me or not, whether this, whether that. Stop thinking of all of those possibilities and just hold yourself back and think, do they even understand? Because the first part, I think personally, is understanding. It is not caring. It is not, finding solutions. It is more of a mutual understanding that you should have with the other person. Because if they don't understand, then what's the point of caring, not caring, attaching yourself, not attaching, loving, not loving, right? So instead of feeling upset about why does the person doesn't care about me, or why do they not like me, am I that bad, stop overthinking and just simply take a step back and realize that they cannot even understand what you're going through. So instead of trying to explain yourself so many times, instead of being upset that they cannot understand you, validate yourself. I highly suggest you should watch the previous episode if you want tips on how to validate yourself / how to stop seeking external validation. Also, as I keep saying, no matter what, no matter whether other people validate you, whether the other people are caring about you, not caring, liking you, not liking, you will always have yourself. No matter what, you are there till your last breath, and nobody has that amount of guarantee in your life as much as you do. So make sure that instead of chasing such toxic people, you focus on yourself and you let such people go. The next is focus on leveling up your own life. Again, links to what I just said. Now, I already have a whole episode on this topic, on how to focus on your life instead of focusing on external sources around you. So make sure you watch / listen to that episode as well. However, I'm just gonna list down the basics in case you haven't watched that. You can simply implement habits in your daily routine that keep your mind off things. Now, I'm not saying to ignore what you're feeling. I'm not telling you to ignore your emotions or, what you're thinking about the situation / the circumstance. However, instead of thinking about it 24/7 and then just realizing that there's no solution to it or there's no point in thinking so much, simply implement habits that you like, and simply implement habits that take you one step closer to your goal. Also, don't forget to implement habits that actually help your state of mind, that make you feel good, make you feel a little lighter and happier. It's as simple as that. When we actually write down habits for ourselves, that time also we overthink so much. We overthink about every single smallest thing nowadays, and it's completely fine because it's just how things are in our life. But Let me give you an example. Would you rather sit down or lay down on your bed all day long and do absolutely nothing? Slash, would you rather at least get up from your bed, make yourself a cup of coffee, and watch your favorite series, and then take some time out to maybe journal, to reflect on your emotions and how you're feeling that day, and go down for a walk and just enjoy the fresh air? Obviously, the second one. So basically, all I'm trying to say is that it's not compulsory that every single day you have to follow your to-do list or something, because we have different energy levels every day. We don't show up as the same person every day, and that's completely fine. It happens with everyone. It's normal, it's common. So instead of forcing yourself to do the to-do list every single day repeatedly, just make sure that you cut down huge amount of tasks that need a lot of energy on the days that your energy is low. The next is that you don't have to match the toxic person's energy. Why would you even try to stoop down to that level where you are remarking yourself as the same as them? Literally. I would rather mind my own business, mind my own energy, mind my own vibration, instead of even bothering or looking towards that person. I have seen people stoop down to that level just for revenge. Please. Revenge is the most immature thing you can do for such people, because first, they will not care. Second, you are just creating more drama for yourself more than it was before. And obviously, you are your own individual, right? You are not compelled to be in their life, nor they are to, they've not signed an agreement to be in your life forever. So just let them go. Instead of chasing, instead of giving those desperate vibes to them, just mind your own business, focus on yourself, mind your own routines, instead of, what does the person think about me? Do they even like me? Do they even care? Why are they creating so much drama in my life? Because you're letting them. It's as simple as that. When you let a person do particular things to you, they will continue doing it because they know that you're not going to do anything about their actions. The moment you decide that, okay, I've had enough, they're stepping my boundaries and I cannot allow that, and the moment you let them go, that's when it hits them. And if it still doesn't hit them, then I'm sorry, they never deserved you. Period. And lastly, stop giving so much worth and importance to such people in your life. Even if you care the most about that person, if you love that person the most, if the person is the most special person to you, and you cannot live without them, that's what you think. But, anyways, even if all of these things come into picture, please remind yourself, are they capable enough to handle you? Do they deserve you? Do they value you? Do they respect your boundaries? If all of these factors are no from their side, why would you want them in your life? You are going to get so many good people in your life. You are going to have a better life eventually as you keep growing up and keep, getting closer to your goals, and you keep meeting people who actually align with your mindset. So instead of chasing such people and, instead of giving them so much importance more than they deserve, please just let them be. Let the situations be, let the person be as they are. Because sometimes it's not about the person won't change, but actually can't change. There's a particular phase of a human being where they are in this zone of their life, and no matter how many people try to change them, they will only change when they want to. If they don't want to change, no matter who comes in their life, even if it is the love of their life, even if it is the bestest friend they've ever met, they will still be in that phase of their life unless and until they decide to change it. Also, please remind yourself that you're not put in this planet to settle down, to cancel your boundaries, and just not match with your standards that you want to have in a particular bond, just because you care so much about the person or you love the person so much or whatever, blah 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 blah. Please respect yourself enough to know that the person is important. Indeed, obviously, that's why they're still in your life and not cut off. However, your boundaries and self respect should be more important than the person. And if the person doesn't want to change, or they decide that they don't want to change how they behave towards you, simply let them be instead of putting so much efforts and giving out so many bad vibes. Yeah. And that's it for today's video. I hope you guys stop caring so much about the wrong people in your life, and just focus on yourself. And trust me, the people who are aligned to meet you, the people who are matching up with your mindset and with your energy and everything, will eventually take place in your life. And it is not that you're never going to meet good people, it's just that there are some circumstances where you have to deal with such toxic people who have such behaviors as I listed down. Just make sure that you're looking out for the right person and trusting the right person, instead of falling or going in this trap of people who have such behaviors as I listed down in the signs. Anyways, thank you so much for listening to me. Make sure you check all the links in the description box for my social media links, my book link, and I'll see you guys the same time next week. Till then, take care. I love you. Bye. And I'm proud of you.